Hello everybody, it's Non-C News here, and today we've got a lot of break updates today. So the first news is coming from Russia and Azerbaijan, where these both world leaders, so the president of Azerbaijan and Putin, both held a phone conversation between each other. So I'm just going to highlight the quick phone call conversation highlights between the Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Azerbaijani President Aliyev. So Putin and Aliyev both expressed satisfaction with the successful results of the Russian president's recent state visit to Azerbaijan. Both presidents discussed the preparation of the Azerbaijani-Armenian peace treaty and the borders demarcation and unblocking of transport links. Putin told Aliyev that he is ready to continue helping Azerbaijan and Armenia to find mutual acceptable solutions. But that's the only news I actually have about this phone conversation between the two presidents, so I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got news coming from Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov. So Sergei Lavrov stated that after Ukraine's offensive in the Kursk region, discussions about a settlement are irrelevant. So he's stating that there will be no peace treaty, there will be no peace settlement until Ukraine is fully out of Russian territory. So very interesting news. We've also got news right now. We've got some early reports that another Russian minister, another Russian military general or advisor has been arrested. So Pavel, that's his name, has apparently been arrested. Now let's head to Ukraine, where we've got some huge news from the general staff. So the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine has officially confirmed the first loss of Ukraine's F-16 fighter jet. So we've got some news about this. So communications was lost with the F-16, so one of the F-16s, and later it was confirmed that the plane crashed and the pilot died. So Ukraine's first F-16 fighter jet has been lost. It apparently malfunctioned and it crashed to the ground. So Ukraine's first F-16 fighter jet has been destroyed. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, the Ukrainian government posted this image, which confirms the F-16 has been destroyed or it's crashed. We've also got news coming from Ukrainian foreign minister. So the Ukrainian foreign minister stated that the biggest problem facing Kiev in the war with Russia is that the allies are afraid to increase their support for Ukraine for fear of escalation. And this kind of goes hand to hand with the defense of Ukraine's tweet, so a tweet on Twitter. So they stated on Twitter/X that the restrictions on strikes on the military facilities inside Russia must be lifted. We have to kill the archer, not the arrow. And it seems that the general of the Royal Netherlands Air Force has taken this advice. So the general of the Royal Air Force of the Netherlands has stated that Ukraine could use F-16 fighter jets provided by his country to strike at Russian territory. So this is huge news. And I think this actually, I've got a quick theory that this is why the doctrine of Russia's nuclear weapons are being clarified. So I'm pretty sure in yesterday's video I talked about how the doctrine of Russia's use of nuclear weapons is being clarified now. So if you don't know, F-16s can carry nuclear weapons, and Russia's point of view in these F-16s striking Russian territory is that Russia can't tell the difference of a non-nuclear attack and a nuclear attack. So this is why Russia is now changing or clarifying Russia's nuclear doctrine. So I'll keep you updated on that, and it's very concerning news. And Ukraine has unveiled another aircraft type UAV. So Ukraine has unveiled a UAV with the ability to actually perform carpet bombing. So you can see here in the bottom left corner, the Ukrainian government actually showed us this image. And we can see this drone with bombs attached to it. So this is like, this is kind of like a replacement or a way cheaper option for Russia's Su-34 fighter jet that drops bombs to. Now let's get into the last political update, the last update into Ukraine. So Ukraine has announced that it's going to complete the abandoned nuclear power plant in the Cherkasy Oblast. I think that's how you pronounce it. I probably pronounced that very wrong. But to this region, this Oblast, apparently Ukraine is going to complete the abandoned nuclear power plant. So it is planned to be built with new power units using AP1000 technology. This is reported by the Ukrainian government. Now we're going to go into Belarus, where we've got news that Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, stated that he has not given and will not give any orders to the military to fight outside of Belarus. So he stated that we will only fight when they come to us with bad intentions. So Belarus is stating that the Belarusian army will never, fight Ukraine into Ukrainian territory. We've also got news coming from Lithuania. So Lithuania has delivered a new aid package to Ukraine. So within this aid package, it has 155mm ammunition, M577 and M113 armored personal carriers, unmanned aerial systems, winter equipment and warm clothing, ammunition for anti-tank grenade launchers, generators, and more ammunition and loaders and trailers, folding beds, and other equipment. So we've got some statistics that since the start of the Russian-Ukrainian war, Lithuania has now provided Ukraine with over 647 million euros worth of aid. So very interesting. We've also got news coming from the Polish reports. So if you guys remember, the Polish military is actively searching for Russian drones for 3 days now, which allegedly crossed the country's airspace during a recent attacks on targets in Ukraine. So Ukraine on Poland on its third day still hasn't found any Russian drone that has landed on the territory. We've also got news coming from Poland that Poland is announcing it's increasing its military spending from 4.2% of GDP to 4.7% next year. We've also got news coming from the Polish defense minister. So the Polish defense minister stated that today we have donated everything we could to Ukraine. The Polish government has made multi-billion donations of equipment to Ukraine. This is all we could give. I know that Ukraine needs many types of weapons, but our Ukrainian partners must also understand that the Polish state needs to maintain its own capabilities, and this is a priority for me as the Minister of Defense of Poland, he said in an interview with PAB. So Poland's probably going to be taking a break regarding Ukrainian and Polish military transactions and military aid. So very interesting news. And let's just quickly go to Hungary and Slovakia, where we've got some news that Hungary and Slovakia continue to export oil from Russia, according to Bloomberg. And let's go to Denmark really quickly, is that Denmark is apparently, we got some rumors coming from Denmark that the Danish government is going to ban the app Telegram. And let's really quickly head to Bosnia. So Bosnia, we've got news that a Bosnian armed forces helicopter actually crashed into this lake here. So it crashed after entangling itself into power lines. One of the crew members are injured. So a helicopter of the armed forces of Bosnia and Herzegovina, I think that's how you pronounce it, crashed around 11 AM local time in the lake here during a military exercise. So everyone survived in this helicopter crash, so only one person injured. We've also got news coming from Serbia's statements. So the news coming from Serbia is coming from the president of Serbia, Vučić. So Vučić stated that Serbia does not intend to justify its relationship with Russia in the response to the Western's press of dissatisfaction with the cooperation between Belgrade and Moscow. The desire of Macron, the French president who arrived on a state visit, to convince the Republic to impose anti-Russian sanctions is understandable, but Serbia is proud of its decision not to join the restrictive measures, Vučić stated, the Serbian president. We've also got news coming from Italy that Italy does not permit Ukraine to use its weapons to strike Russian territory, said the foreign minister in Brussels. So Italy has not changed its position on weapons for Ukraine. We forbid Ukraine from using the weapons received from Italy to strike Russian territory. And now we've got some updates coming from the Telegram owner Pavel. So if we remember, the Telegram founder Pavel was actually detained at a French airport. So if you don't know who this man is, he was the founder of the Telegram app. So he was actually detained and arrested in Paris. And if you can see here in your bottom left corner, we can actually see that he's actually been released from custody and actually left the courthouse in Paris in a private car. So apparently he's free. So a police convoy in which Pavel was reportedly present in left the courthouse in Paris. But we've also got news that Pavel has also been placed under supervision and prohibited from leaving France at this moment, and he must post a bail of 5 million euros. So he's not a free man yet. He's not allowed to actually leave France, but he's no longer in a jail cell. So there's some progress for him. We've also got news coming from the Vice President of the European Commission. So the Vice President of the European Commission stated that he calls for the unrestricted use of European weapons against Russia by Ukraine, and he also stated in an interview that Borrell also proposes sanctions against a number of Israeli ministers. Now let's head to the UK, where we've gotten news that more than 20,000 migrants have crossed into the UK by boat this year. The number of people arriving in the UK on small boats this year has surpassed 20,000, according to the Home Office. Yesterday, 614 migrants arrived on 10 boats, marking the second highest single day total since the general election. So the highest number this year was 882 arrivals on June 18th. As for now, 20,433 migrants have crossed the English Channel on small boats, compared to 19,801 by this time last year. So there's been a rise of migrants crossing into the English Channel into Great Britain. We've also got news coming from Azerbaijan and Armenia that the Azerbaijani Ministry of Defense have reported that in the morning, units of the Armenian armed forces opened fire on the positions of the Azerbaijani army. So in this direction here. So not in the mainland of Azerbaijan, but in this territory here. So there's been an Azerbaijan and Armenian border conflict here. So the two countries apparently opened fire onto each other. So very interesting news. Now let's head to northern Iraq. We've got news coming from northern Iraq that a Turkish drone was actually shot down in northern Iraq. So the Iraqi Air Defense Forces shot down a drone over the city of this city here, which I cannot pronounce. I'll give it a crack. Kirkuk, I think that's how you say it. So in the north of the country. So according to the Deputy Air Defense Commander in the northern region, he said that he confirmed the shooting down of a drone that had entered Iraqi airspace from the neighbouring province. The Turkish side has not yet commented on this incident. So there's been a Turkish drone. If you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can clearly see it going down, and we've seen some pictures of this Turkian drone. So very interesting. And that's not the only thing that's happened today. We've also got news coming from Syria that photos have been shared by locals showing a parachute following the downing of an aircraft/UAV over the desert here. So it's actually still unclear what this object is, or this UAV/aircraft is. So a lot of reports are stating that it's either a US Army UAV, or a Syrian MiG-23, or a Western fighter, or an Iranian UAV at this moment of time. So we still don't know what this is, but we've only gotten pictures of parachutes and people searching what has happened there. Now let's head to Israel, where we've got some news that Israel agrees to a humanitarian truce in the Gaza Strip under American pressure. So there's been a quick truce in the Gaza Strip. It doesn't actually have a date. It doesn't have any end date or details on how long this ceasefire is going to last for. So a truce has been introduced to humanitarian reasons. Now let's go to Egypt, where we've got news that Egypt is actually sending arms to Somalia following a security pact that was actually signed. So it must have been a month ago now that Egypt, we talked about how Egypt signed a security pact with Somalia. So now Egypt is now sending arms to Somalia following the security pact. So the Egypt has delivered its first military aid to Somalia in more than 4 decades on Tuesday. So very interesting news, but all I know right now is that Ethiopia is not very happy about this transaction between Somalia and Egypt. Now let's also go to Nigeria, where the Nigerian president, the Nigerian president will meet Chinese leader Xi Jinping during a visit to China next week to discuss cooperation on the economy and satellite technology, a Nigerian government spokesman said on Tuesday. So the Nigerian president is going to meet Xi Jinping to discuss more about economics and the economics cooperation between China and Nigeria. And we also got news that Nigeria becomes the first African country to obtain Mpox vaccines, so monkeypox vaccines. So we've got news that Nigeria has received 10,000 doses of vaccines from the United States of America. Now we've got some news coming from China. So the news coming from China is that after September the 1st, prices for drones will begin to rise and their availability will decrease due to new export restrictions imposed by China. These restrictions concern the exports from China of many components necessary to assemble of drones on which Ukraine is heavily dependent on. So China is going to make it harder for countries around the world to actually obtain compartments for drones. We've also got news coming from China and the US in Beijing. So Biden's national security advisor Jake is currently in Beijing, where he met with the Chinese President Xi Jinping and the head of Beijing's foreign ministry. So the advisor of Biden's national security stated on the news that there has been no progress in discussing a peaceful solution to the Ukrainian conflict in Beijing. We've also got news coming from a Chinese drone manufacturer. So a Chinese drone manufacturer has unveiled a remotely operated grenade that can fly like a drone. So you can see here in your bottom left corner, this is a 7-second long clip. This device is equipped with propellers on all 4 sides, but the developers have not actually stated what the speed is on this grenade or the range on this drone/grenade. So this probably in the future could be a very big thing, who knows. Now let's go to North Korea. That the North Korean state media KCTV has released footage and imagery of its new Hwasong 18 solid fuel ICBM released by state media on Friday. It was cold launched from a TLC canister. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can actually see the launch of this missile. The test was launched on Thursday in the presence of the North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un and his daughter. We've also got news coming from Indonesia that Indonesia is planning to move towards blocking Telegram in the country. We've also got news coming from the EU foreign ministers about Venezuela. So EU foreign ministers have agreed not to recognize Maduro, the leader of Venezuela, as the democratically elected president of Venezuela. And the last news today is coming from the Brazilian Supreme Court of Justice. So Brazil has actually gave an ultimatum for Twitter/X to abide by its orders, or Twitter/X will be banned in Brazilian territory within the 24 hours. But that's actually all the news I actually have for you today. I am Noncy News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.